The meetings are piling up, you've got shifting priorities, and you keep being asked to do more with less. Does this sound familiar at all? Yeah, because that is modern work today. But the truth is, the difference between burning out and bouncing back is not about your workload. It's about your resiliency. So in this video, I'm giving you 5 real, proven ways to strengthen your resilience at work without quitting your job or losing your mind. Let's talk about it. Let's start by talking about why I believe work is like the ultimate resilience lab. It's where we can grow so much resiliency. I say that because work is so rich with all these micro stressors. And for some of us, it's like macro stressors, right? So much uncertainty, so many things that don't go well, so many differing personalities and people that we have to work with because it's a part of our job, it's a part of our role. There's so many competing priorities, all these deadlines that are approaching. You're dealing with leaders and executive leaders that don't communicate clearly. Sometimes you're unaware of what you need to be working on, what the top priority is. And then there's an emotional labor involved with dealing and working with so many different personalities, so many different individuals as you think about team dynamics. With all that said, it makes it the perfect place to build resilience. To build resilience in real time, through daily habits, through daily choices, through awareness of the stressors. Because the reality is, you don't need to leave your job to protect your peace. You just need to garner better tools to move through your day-to-day. And I can't tell you how often I've had leaders that we've worked with dealing with an environment where there's so many priorities, all these things that I just talked about. They quit their job, they start somewhere else, and they face the exact same thing. We always think the grass is greener until we hop that fence. And so often it's not. You don't need to escape your work in order to build resilience. You can build it exactly where you are, taking advantage in the face of all of these micro and macro stressors that you face on a daily basis. Now, with that said, let's dive into these 5 ways that you can actually use all this stress to build and nurture your resiliency. The first way I love, and this is something that I strive to do, bookend your day with intention, with intentionality. Start your day, what is the intention that I have for the day, right? And sometimes for me, it's just one thing, right? How I want to show up, the thing that I want to get accomplished, maybe the person that I think is important that I connect with. What is that intention that I have for the day? Start your day there. There's so much about building resiliency that's about our own self-awareness, where our intentions lie, where our emotional energy lies, and staying off autopilot. Because I really think there's millions of people that are switching on autopilot every time the alarm clock goes off. And you just get into the normal flow of the day. And I feel like for 9 out of 10 of us is looking right at our phones and it's checking our email, right? So see if you can't break that pattern and wake up, okay, what is my intention for the day? What is my intention? What do I want to achieve? How do I want to show up? Who do I need to connect with? Go through that in your mind first and then get into your day. And that will kind of jar you out of that autopilot. Now, I talked about bookending, so start with an intention, and at the end of the day, be intentional about reflecting on one maybe draining or difficult thing that you faced and one thing that you learned, right? At the end of the day, you're gonna ask yourself, what was the most difficult thing that I faced today? What was the challenge that I went through? And from day to day, maybe it's gonna be minor, but what is that hard thing that I had for the day? And then what did I learn? What was something that I learned today? Okay, those are your bookends. Start the morning with the intention for the day, end the day with the intention to cite the most difficult thing you went through and one thing that you learned. This is gonna jar you out of autopilot, increase your self-awareness, and really help you build that resiliency. The second tactic is to adopt a first emotion response. And this is specifically to that Slack message, to that email, to that phone message that you get that just sets your candle on fire. I don't even know if that's a real saying. You know what I'm talking about. When you just get pissed off. When you're just like, why did they send that? What do these words? What am I reading? Before you respond immediately, before you type out that email, take a beat, take a breath. What is this emotion that I'm feeling, and name it. And it's not just a matter of saying, I'm feeling angry and I'm sending this text message. It's a matter of naming the emotion, and then perhaps even the question, what is it telling me? Why am I feeling this anger? Why am I feeling this frustration? And by doing this exercise, trust me, it's going to allow you to let that emotion process, right? Emotions are a part of a chemical reaction that happen in our brain, and it's spawned from the amygdala, the primitive brain, and it takes about 90 seconds for a chemical reaction to span in the brain. And so if you're naming the emotion, thinking about what is it bringing your attention, your awareness into, it's going to give you that 90 seconds that you need. So practice naming the emotion first. The third tactic is to create a work recovery cue. Choose one cue that you can implement throughout the day that will remind and invite your nervous system to reset. I like to do these after maybe standing meetings that I know are difficult, or standing meetings that I know where we're talking a lot, there's a lot of work that we have to get done, or maybe it's after a challenging conversation. So that cue or that reset might look like a 10-minute walk. It might look like taking 4 or 5 minutes for a breathing exercise. Maybe it's listening to 10 minutes of your favorite podcast. Maybe it's bringing out that book that you've been reading, but some way, somehow, get a cue into your day for a little bit of recovery so that you can reset your nervous system. And again, this is another tactic to bring you out of that autopilot, right? Bring you outside of the stressor, and it's going to help you to nurture that resiliency. The fourth tactic is to ask for clarity like it's your job, because it is. It is your job to be clear and understand, what are you being held accountable for? What are you responsible for? You ask me to do this, what specifically does that mean? What do you need of me? So use your curiosity to make sure you're pushing that level of clarity. You know exactly what's being asked of you. You know exactly when this individual needs it. You know exactly why they need it. And then you can go off and commit to the work. Because in truth, unclear expectations are one of the biggest drivers of burnout in the workplace today. And so make sure you're crystal clear on what's being asked of you, what's on your plate, and the reason, the rationale, the why behind it. The fifth and final is to celebrate your invisible wins. So what do I mean by that? There's a lot of effort that you make in the workplace and your work that's invisible by your manager, that might be invisible to your team members. That's the emotional labor that you're carrying, your ability to handle conflict well. It's your ability to name the emotion that you experience through pressure and then move forward in a productive, calm way. Oftentimes people aren't seeing that. So I want you to make it a point at the end of every week to ask yourself, what were 3 invisible wins that I had? Wins that my boss didn't see or my team members didn't see, but I know that I was able to achieve. Celebrate those and name them at the end of every week. Ultimately, you don't build resilience by waiting for recognition. You build resilience by recognizing it in yourself. So now I've got your favorite part, a free chapter of my book, Change Enthusiasm, How to Harness the Power of Emotion for Leadership and Success. This is actually a mindset that's going to help you nurture your resiliency, that invites emotions into the conversation, and that's something that's going to help be your competitive advantage as you move forward in your work. So it's completely for free. Just click the link below. And until the next video, until I see you again, I want you to keep nurturing that resiliency. I want you to keep setting those intentions, keep stretching, keep learning, keep growing, keep feeling. But above all else, keep rocking.